All right, guys, welcome back to another Real Talk episode. Today, we're going to be talking about the beauty of the 13.7, and this gun was on the channel a long time ago, but it has since made its resurrection, I guess you could say. It's come back in full force. This was a Franken build that I had originally on the channel, had a BCM rail on it. I had robbed parts of it and put parts back on, took them off, put them off. This was kind of sitting in my safe as like a half-built gun for a while, without a trigger, without a selector, no charging handle, BCG, any of that stuff. And I've since like rekindled the flame with it, I guess you could say. So I wanted to just talk about this because I posted this on IG the other day, and I asked if y'all wanted to see a review on it, and everyone was like an overwhelming yes. So let's just talk about it a little bit. I know we're not going to be shooting it in this Real Talk, but we're going to talk about the journey, how it came to be, and I guess just, you know, like I know a lot of you guys, just like me, probably have a drawer full of parts that you can make almost a whole rifle out of, and you'll find that, you know, sometimes you don't want to buy that extra part, but then things just kind of fall into the right places. And I had this Riz 3 rail laying around, and I wanted to review the rail and start actually using the rail, so it kind of found the place on its home in here, and I just had to buy, you know, a few small things to complete it. And so I just wanted to go over the setup, why it's set up the way it is, kind of my idea for it, and then, yeah, we'll just talk about it like that. We'll just start up at the blast end, and we'll go to ass end. So starting up here in the front, we have a Sons of Liberty Knox 9. So this is one of their 9-hole flash hider / brake. So it's got 3 holes over here on top and on the other side, which really help with the recoil and keeping that recoil under control. Actually, this muzzle device is so good at what it does. It almost has a negative recoil. It almost overcomps the gun a little bit, but it still has that flash hiding capability. As you guys know, any of my fighting rifles, which are pretty much all my rifles, because any rifle I buy or build, I build it with the intention that it could be used if I ever needed to in a gunfight, and I would want a flash hider in that situation. And so this guy is really good at what it does. It does have it is chemo compatible, so when I was still on the dead air hype train, that's kind of why I stuck with the chemo, and it's great. It's pin and welded to a 13.7 inch Sons of Liberty Gunworks barrel. The Sons of Liberty Gunworks barrel is phenomenal, especially for the price. It comes from the factory with a dimpled barrel, so you can actually, you know, not have to worry about buying a dimpling jig to do that. And so you have a little place for your set screw and your gas block to go into. Use some rock set on those, and you're pretty much rocking. You're good to go. Obviously, we have the Riz 3 rail from Daniel Defense. This is the brand new rail that, you know, that was the newer version of the Riz 2, which is so infamously loved amongst the gun community and special operators and whatnot. So the Riz 3 just takes the same exact bolt-up design that the Riz 2 had, these 6 bolts up here, and it just made it M-lock instead. So it lightened it up quite a bit, but it still maintains the ability to be mounted with an M203 grenade launcher if you do so choose, if you really ball out of control like that, like I would like to one day. And yeah, just a phenomenal little round. I mean, the fit and finish is incredible on it. Obviously, didn't expect anything less from Daniel Defense, so that's really cool to see. I believe we're running just like a BCM low profile gas block on here. I can't remember. It might be a Sons of Liberty gas block, but low profile gas block. This is a mid-length system, so you have a longer gas system, a little bit lighter recoil, a little bit less dwell time, but from what I found, if you follow Sons of Liberty's, you know, buffer weight and spring suggestions on their website for their barrel lengths and whether you're running it suppressed or unsuppressed, they suggest a Voltar A5 system, which is a full length rifle length tube that still has the carbine adjustments on it. So you still have a 6-positional or 7-position, I believe it is actually 7-position adjustable stock, but you get the added travel for that buffer weight and spring, so it actually softens it up quite a bit. And I've never had any reliability issues with this rifle before. I kind of frankened it out a little bit, but it's the same internals as it was before, so I don't anticipate any reliability issues out of this thing. Now, on the bottom here, we have the Samson Manufacturing vertical foregrip. This is one of their shorties, bolts directly up to the M-lock, and it's one of the cleanest looks, and it still has that kind of you know, old school look to it, like those broomsticks, but it's a shorty, and it directly mounts to M-lock, which I really like. I like to not have to put a Picatinny rail section in there. It's not the end of the world if you have to. If you have like a Troy vertical grip or something like that, some of my rifles still have those, but I do like the way Samson does this, and they're quickly and easily, you know, able to be twisted off, and then you could replace them with a different length or a different color if you wanted to. So Samson Manufacturing did send me these, full disclosure, but I did ask them to send me these. Like most of the things that people send me, I know a lot of guys are like, man, you lose all credibility once you ask a company for something. It's like, dude, I'm trying to bring you guys new content, and there's only so much money in my bank account. So that's the way I can do it, is by reaching out to companies. But I'm not reaching out to any companies or accepting any products from companies that I don't actually want, or I'm actually genuinely curious about whether they're good or not. So, or it's like something I've already purchased and I want another one for another build. So I already know that it's good. So on and so forth. But again, I hate that I even have to say that, because those people are probably already gone and unsubscribed. But I do feel the need to be 100% honest with you guys. So that when I ask for something, it's because I want it, I've already used it, or I think it's going to be great. Okay, and I'd spend my own money on it, but it's just no money there. So with that being said, guys, we're going to move back from there. We have a Aero Precision upper and lower receiver group. These are blend upper and lowers. I don't ever think you should pay full price for any receiver set, especially Aero Precision. Their blems are so ridiculously nice. I mean, this blem lower, this is one of the only blems I actually found the blem on. It's right there. It's a tiny little cosmetic imperfection in the aluminum. Obviously, they're not selling anything that is not 100% functional and will work and work just fine, work great, but you save a ton of money. I mean, it's almost like 40% off or something crazy. So any uppers or lowers I buy, they're typically Aero, they're typically blem if they're in stock. So this is like a 50 Shades of FDE build here. And so yeah, FDE upper and lower. It used to have a rattle can job on it, and I just used some acetone to just strip it off because I wanted to go back to a more clean look. But it does give it that cool battle worn look. I know some guys hate that, but it's actually spray paint that I just stripped off. So you don't have to pay for a battle worn Cerakote, right? You just spray paint it and then just rip it off with some acetone. From there, we have a Strike Industries dust cover. It's one of those plastic ones. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just fine. I couldn't find, at the time, I don't think Magpul even had their covers out, and I wanted an FDE one. So Strike Industries, nothing special, but nothing crazy either. It's got a little bit of a O-ring around it, which is kind of nice to keep more moisture out of there than the typical mil-spec one. Aero Precision upper. This is just a regular upper. As you can see, it's bolted up with the Daniel Defense rail. And then we have the Aero Precision lower, which is nice because it has that slightly flared magwell from the factory. It's got a built-in 7075, T6 aluminum trigger guard there. That's a little bit oversized if you're running gloves or whatnot. And then a mil-spec parts kit. Besides the ALG ACT trigger in here, so it's an advanced combat trigger from ALG. That's Amy Lynn Geisley, for those of you who don't know. We'll just go to this trigger real quick. I know a lot of you guys like to see these triggers and how they work, so let's see. It's a single stage trigger, so there's 0 take-up, and it's an immediate break. And for $70, I mean, pretty great trigger. Here's the reset. Really short, really positive, and then you're right on the wall. A tiny bit of squish, just taking up. It's probably like a 4.5, probably more like a 5.5 pound trigger, but a really good trigger for what it is. Obviously running PMags Gen 3 with the window. Excited to try out the new T-Mags, the new transparent PMags. We'll see about those if I can find any in stock anytime soon. And then a Sons Liberty Gunworks bolt carrier group. Sons Liberty, they do everything top notch. There's no really bells and whistles to it. It's just simply done right. So barrel and BCG from Sons Liberty Gunworks. And then the Sons Liberty Gunworks ambidextrous charging handle. Looks a lot like my favorite charging handle, the Geisley Airborne there. But so it has that lip in the back to help you with the gas. It's ambidextrous. It's a little bit of play in there, but you're gonna find that with any charging handle. But really big fan of that charging handle there. And then what else? Radiant selector on the 45 degree throw. So radiant selector is my go-to. I like it on the 45. Really positive, really clicky. I love that. And it's super easy for on the right side of the gun when I'm running drills. If I want to, flip the safety on, run my drill. It's really easy. It's just literally the flick of the thumb. Don't have to break my grip whatsoever. With a mil-spec, for me at least, my thumbs are the smallest part of my hands. I got really big hands, and my thumb is a little dwarf there. So for me at least, I got to break my grip if I'm going to use a mil-spec charging handle to come over here and sweep it back and kind of do one of these where I lift my hand up and break it. You'll see guys do that a lot with mil-spec triggers. With the Radiant on the 45, you don't have to do that. So it makes having good good safety discipline very good and very easy rather. So yeah, let's go back from there. Or let's go down from there. Reptilla CQG grip. I did do a little stipple job on this guy just because I know that it's smooth in the factory. I believe they did that because if you want to stipple it, you can. And there's some aftermarket companies that do it for you. But I just got my wood burner out, did it myself. So a little bit of a stipple job there, give me a little bit more grip. And it's not very abrasive. It's a very light stipple job, but I do like it. And then we have the Law Tactical folder on there. So what the Law Tactical folder does is it gives you the ability to fold this thing down to a much more compact size. So we're already running a 13.7, which is the shortest legal length that you can really do a pin and weld on a gun like this. When you collapse the stock all the way and you fold it to the side, my sling was in the way, you can see just how small and compact this thing really gets. I mean, I could bust out a measuring tape, but you get the point. This will fit in a larger backpack for sure. If you were going camping or something like that, it keeps it nice and compact. If you want to put it in the truck, it keeps it nice and compact so that you can very easily have a full-size rifle and deploy that stock and go to work. And it does not affect the reliability if you're careful about it. 300 blackout with a Law Tactical folder might give you some issues because it is adding this extension piece here, which is required to extend your bolt carrier group to the new location of the buffer and buffer weight back here. So that does add a little bit of mass to your BCG, but if it is gassed properly and you just account for that, especially, it actually really helps when you're running it suppressed since we don't have an adjustable gas block on this thing. So that is a really cool feature of the Law Tactical folder. Is actually, you know, by default, the way it's designed kind of helps with an over-gassed gun, so to speak. So not that this gun is over-gassed, but again, I think Sons of Liberty actually even has in the chart, if you're running a Law Tactical folder, the right buffer weight to use. So in this guy, we just have the Voltar A3, so we have the heaviest buffer weight in here. We may have to change that out. I own the A1, A2, and A3, and so I may need to change that out and make it a little bit lighter if I have issues with this cycling without a suppressor on it. But we're going to be running it suppressed because once you go suppressed, you'll never go back. And then back from there, we have the B5, I don't know, SOP Mod Gen 2. I can't remember. This is the one that does not have the battery storage compartments. It does have a little bit of an angle on the back, more like the BCM gunfighter stock. The regular SOP Mod is just flat down. I do like that angle, and it has still a pretty good cheek weld on it, so you're not, you know, it's a pretty good cheek weld compared to like a CTR or some other type of mag pull stock. It still has more of a cheek weld than some of those other options out there. It does have QD cups in the back, and it's obviously adjustable. We're running a BCM QD end plate back here. You don't even need it because the Law Tactical actually has a QD on the bottom there, but I like to run mine in the back, so put that BCM end plate on there, and then the Riz 3 has its own little QD cup here on the side for my other side of my sling. So up top, as the optic goes, we have the American Defense. I believe this is a 1700 XLR or something like that. Optic riser. A lot of guys ask me questions about this on that Instagram post. And it does have the titanium levers on it, so a little bit lighter weight, but you are going to pay for that. So really cool optic riser because you don't have to have another riser individually for your magnifier if you're running it at the regular, you know, lower 1/3 height like this Promethean. I believe this is the Promethean LP1. And I actually haven't even shot this thing yet. I have some mixed emotions about the company. They did send it to me because I asked about it, and then I did some more research on it, found some things out, and so yeah, that's a conversation for another day. But this thing is it's really freaking awesome. Just I love this setup so far, and I'm really excited to shoot it. Now, with that being said, speaking about the optic, ideally 13.7 can reach out to 500 yards. I would like to have more magnification on here. I would love, like, the ideal optic for this thing would probably be the Vortex Viper 1:6, I believe it is, or Vortex Razor 1:6, whichever one that is. The 1:6 that's like super daylight bright. I'm blanking right now on the name of it, but I would love to have that on here because, again, just like with suppressors, once you start shooting long range and once you have the ability to go out, you know, to a place like RPR and train out to 600 yards, it really spoils you when you have a good glass with a magnified optic. So this is definitely going to be on here for now, just because, again, budget's limited, but I would love to put a 1:6 on here. And actually one of my followers actually sent me a message and said he has almost the exact same setup with a 1:6 on here. So I'm sure he loves it, and I'm glad he sent that to me. So that is kind of where I want to go with this thing. But again, 13.7 gets you the shortest package you can have legally without having to deal with the NFA, which is really awesome. And it still gives you the ability to reach out to 5 or 6, 500 yards reliably with a 5.56. That's pretty incredible. Love this thing. It's kind of reignited my love for this rifle, and that's always an exciting thing because you get a new rifle and you kind of put the old ones away and you get really excited about it. So I know you guys all know what I'm talking about. and it's just, I've been like just staring at this thing, waiting to take it to the range. So hopefully we can get some rounds through it tomorrow and actually put it through some of its paces. And I'm just really excited about it. So if you guys want to support the channel, if you guys enjoy these videos, there's 4 ways you can really do that. The number one and the best way is to do a super thanks. That is directly contributed to my YouTube fund. So thank you to everybody who even considers doing that. It is a huge help. It's like Patreon, but here on YouTube. The second way is by using bro code RDB10 over at brownells.com. Saves you 10% off, $150 or more, and some exclusions apply, but for the most part, you can buy pretty much anything on the website for 10% off, which is awesome, and it also supports the channel. Then we have rangedaybro.com where you can get any merch. We have the Pro Gun Club shirt here, and then many other things, gun charms, many other designs, hoodies, things like that. And then lastly, I know it's played out, but liking, commenting, subscribing is a great way to show the YouTube algorithm that you guys enjoy these videos and that these are for everybody, not just for people who search for gun stuff. We need to kind of spread this message of the Second Amendment and spread this message of love and kindness, guys. That's kind of what I'm all about. The peaceful warriors. I know all you guys out there, we all just want to be left alone. We all just want to live our lives in peace and spread love. And these are just here just in case that doesn't work out. So hopefully it never comes to that. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. Keep grinding out there. Keep working on yourselves, doing better. It's you versus you, one foot in front of the other. It's one day at a time. Don't get overwhelmed, get anxiety about, whatever it is, starting that diet or quitting drinking or just going to the range and training or work stressing you out. Whatever it is, you guys can handle it. You got this, man. You guys got this. You guys keep me going. So keep it up, man. Talk to you guys later.